myself.
Yeah.
So, okay, so explain that to people, because you and I talk a different language, but I get it. But that's why I want you to help people, because we're at that time in the ascension age where people are going to know more and more people exist. And we need to talk about this. So you're comfortable, but you're talking about some people that you said got upset, or you got pissed off, or they got pissed off. So
well, my star
what
family.
is that? Is that not your parents? That's
No,
not
my
your
star family.
biological.
My star family is the family where I originate before, they put me into something that put me here, this life, into this biosuit. So, my star family, so I tell people this because it's not easy. Like, it's not all airy fairy and unicorn farts, sometimes dealing with, some of
Did
them
you
were
just
conscious.
say unicorn? Amanda, did she say unicorn farts? Is that what you heard? Unicorn
That's what
farts?
I heard.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to stop and laugh because I felt that down to my toes curl.
And they do that
so
through
funny.
that horn.
What is that? Not rainbows. What is
I
it,
said
man?
they do that through the horn.
Through the horn? Other end, I see. Okay. Interesting. Rainbow farts. Unicorn farts. Okay. All right. Is that a term for is that a term for woo woo? I think they call it woo woo.
Some woo woo, yeah, some woo woo.
Some woo woo.
But it's not always easy, for star people, and I just want people to know that. So what happened with my star family is I had so I grew up, and over my life I'd had just really bad accidents. I've had major head injuries. I've had 6 of them, and I remember going to this one homeopathic, and he was like, "It says here you've had 6 major head injuries, one in which your brain was exposed." And I said, "Yeah, that's correct." He goes, "I don't even know how you're sitting here talking to me."
Well, it was unicorn farts, right? Rainbow farts, unicorn farts.
Yeah. Anyway,
my gosh. So what happened to your brain? They said you've had all these injuries. When did you were just a rough kid playing with insects, or what? Were you bumping Arizona rocks or Nevada rocks? Or what were you doing?
Well, my star family actually comes out to be the story about how they come clean on it. But basically, so I have all these health problems in my life. I actually get brain cancer at like age 31. By 30, like major blackout. And I didn't go Western because I don't like Western. I don't like Western doctors, and I don't like Western medicine. And I just kind of made peace with, like, I was either going to survive it or I was going to die, and those were like the 2 things. So I pursued it dietary, which was good, and also I went back to doing heavy shamanism work to generate enough power to heal myself from being sick. And
tell us about that. Were you diagnosed clinically in a medical facility by a doctor?
Well, I had clients back then that were doctors under the radar, and so I had one of my doctor friends and also my clients do up some blood work, and somebody else, like a fake name kind of a thing, right? So it wasn't kind of on your record. And so it came back that, like I had all this weird hormone stuff. And so basically, they were saying, well, maybe you're like premenopausal at like 31, so that kind of like looks what's happening with you. And so I lived there, and it got worse and worse and worse. And I knew that there was something really, really wrong with my brain, and that was going on with me. And I had a good friend of mine who, back then they had, I think it was called like Whole Life Expo. It's where famous. He became like a really big, he made a lot of money off Whole Life Expo. But a good friend of mine was
met him.
Yeah, a good friend of mine was like the chief financial officer of Whole Life Expo for a period, and so he came to Reno to see me, and he stayed for a few days. He stayed like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. And the first few days I was okay, and I was trying to tell him that. I said, like there are days where I'm like perfectly normal, and there's days where like I'm not good. So anyway, he was there long enough to see the days that I wasn't good. And he actually called a friend of his that was like 85, who was retired, who was a naturopath doctor for 65 years. And also he was a medical intuitive. So they, over the phone, my friend helped him to diagnose me and all that other stuff. And then he started to kind of help me. And then it took a long time to recover. I mean, I think the cancer tumor, I believe, was finally gone 5 years after that. So when I was about 37, 38, I feel like the tumor was completely gone. But I still had a lot of problems with my physical body. So my right side of my body actually shriveled up half the size of the other side. And I had, like a lot of crazy stuff going on. I had like paranoia, because I was left brain hemisphere lateralized. But I actually, through all this stuff, I actually went on to study a whole bunch of other stuff and how to actually fix people who have things that I've had. You know what I mean? So in my practice, so it was good to, sometimes it's good to be the patient on the inside to accumulate information. But it was tough, and it took me, I'm still kind of recovering, I'm still trying every day to try to start running again, because I was super healthy when I had the brain tumor. But now I know that a lot of it was caused by our family. So.
Sorry, my daughter came in. Wow. Well, so is your tumor gone?
I think
it
totally is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and my body's almost back to where it operates really well. I had a whole bunch of operational glitches from the brain tumor. So
how many years has it been? Almost 20? Has it been almost 20 years?
Well, 32 is when it really nailed me. So I'll be 51 in December. So yeah.
And
close to that.
What year did you get 31? Did you say to 51?
Yeah.
What year? 32.
Yeah, I was like 32 when the tumor really started taking its toll on me. But yeah. I mean, there are days.
Have
like
you had an X-ray?
Oh, hell no, because one of the things my naturopathic doctor said, he said, so you're going to let somebody put radiation into a tumor. He said, you won't survive that. You won't survive that. And you're like, so the thing is, like, they go in there, and I tell people, I get people who call me, and they're like, okay, what should I do? What should be my choices? And I'm like, well, these are the choices that I've made. But you have to, if you know for sure, like you have cancer or you have tumors, you cannot do any kind of radiation. You cannot be near radiation because it is going to make it grow and accelerate, like at rapid paces. So what do people do? They get, because I do home health, I do healthcare too. I do, that's my main business is healthcare and traditional osteopathic work and nutrition, and I get a lot of people who are really effed up and sick. But you can't, first thing that they want to do, when they know, they'll say things like, okay, well, we know you have cancer, and so, the next checkup, and then they'll make you get an MRI, but what they do is they inject you with nuclear radiation. That's why they call it nuclear medicine. And then they run you in this machine so they can really see what your cancer's like. But the very fact that they inject you with that radiation, when they know that you have cancer, they know that that's the difference between you maybe winning against that cancer or the cancer killing you. They have to know. So,
well, my daughter had it. She died this year of the same thing, a brain hemorrhage, cancer.
Yeah.
But she had it all over. She got it from acquired. She was a painter like a mad, and there's benzene and chemicals when you paint.
Yeah.
And so she acquired it on the job. And she's no longer here. She was about your age. Let's see. She was born January 27th, 1974, and she passed March 16th, 2019. And it sounds so funny because she's my daughter and she's gone now. And I've had a lot of death and dying around me. I don't understand where we go, but I do know we go from here. But everybody is different, and everybody's memories, and we become something else. Of course, we know the physical part goes back to nature, Mother Nature, but, where does our consciousness go? So that's why you're pretty special to me, Bridgett, because you come in apparently knowing that you're from somewhere else, even though this is your first life. And as Ahmad said, Ahmad agrees. He has no recollection or nothing to. Ahmad, how do you do this? And this is important, Bridgett, for just a moment. Let me get this out of the way. I need to drop this in as a little infomercial. Ahmad, on when you and Bridgett know you're both from here, but you're born here, your suit, your biological, your container. But Ahmad, help me out here with you and Bridgett. What is the term when you know you're don't have memories from a past life? She calls it her star family, but she has some kind of. We've got to discuss this, folks, because I have family off planet as well, past history, but I have past lives as well, and memories. But we're different age brackets. But Ahmad, what are we going to call this? Because we're kindred spirits.
I have no idea what to call it, but I do know that
I don't either.
if I had these memories of my other lives, then it would influence my position in this life, and that's why I don't have them.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I acquired them. Yeah, I acquired them through having these people that come and go in my life, but I didn't have them.
They don't have no. It doesn't have an influence on your decision making in this life, and mine would. So I'm not allowed to know them.
Oh, you think you would build on your? I just know.
Right.
So mine's just
if I knew, I would be using them, and then it would be defeating the purpose for me being here.
That's interesting. Okay, because I don't use mine. I just know, and it's just part of me. So that's like knowing your bloodline or whatever. So Bridgett, this is real important because you're pulling all this together and able to talk about it, and you're a young soul, being that you recognize that this is your first time on this planet. But how do you know if you're not an old soul from other planets, Bridgett?
Well, I suspect I've lived all over. I'm starting, as I age, to think that I'm like some kind of, I don't know, agent that they send around to different places that are pretty effed up. I think that they need to keep an eye on or try to get some information about.
So you're a traveler. Doesn't mean that your soul is first time.
Yeah, I think a lot of people probably might be travelers and have different kinds of jobs. But the other thing, too, is when I've done sessions with people, a lot of times in the past, I do these things, what I call shamanism medical sessions. And and sometimes the stream or the energy field will take me back to where they originated, like closest to the first time that they, their earliest existence. And one of the most interesting that I, and
go ahead.
a lot
go
of
ahead,
times, yeah, a lot of times it wasn't here on this planet because a lot of people have energy systems that are, really old, that have taken in different kinds of information and data, as they lived and evolved through the universe, and here on Earth.
Right.
There are a lot of people here that have lived like crazy reincarnation here, like crazy reincarnation. But one of the I had a friend of mine who she came to me for some sessions. She was a brilliant attorney, lived in Toronto. She was from the Dominican Republic originally. And she they wanted to